Here we go. All right. Hi, everybody. Hi, Ron. Looks like you might be the only one here right now. That's okay. We
That's
love
okay.
you. Thanks, everybody, for coming today. I'm here with fabulous Karen of Interdimensional Healing, aka also was Sage Healers. Is that what it used to be called?
Yeah, so
Sage
it's interdimensional awakening.
Awakening. Sorry.
Awakening, that's okay.
Interdimensional
And it was,
Awakening.
yes, it was Sage, Karen Elizabeth Sage Healers. So
All right. I'm going to write that right here. Interdimensional
I wouldn't have,
Awakening.
and I wouldn't have picked such a tongue twister, but
It's okay.
that's what you gave me. And I'm like, seriously?
I know. Well, when I see that, I already know that we're dealing with UFOs and aliens and things like that. So there are a few of you out here right now, Dr. Gale, and there's a couple others. I guess Scott Allen does a lot of it too, does some of it, but yeah.
I mean, that I think maybe that's something that I should do more often is kind of look, but seriously, like go out and look at other people's channels
Other
and
people's
see,
stuff.
but I don't. I just don't.
It's okay. It's okay. You have a job too, right?
Well,
yeah.
It's been, that job's been going up and down, but yes,
I understand. But when you have a job, it's hard to do all those things and do your own show.
Yeah. I mean, I'm transitioning jobs right now. So I have been, that's why people have been seeing me more, because I'm like in their channels. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, love seeing you there. Yeah. Hi, Linda.
Hi,
see
Linda.
you here.
How are you?
Yeah. I'm glad you're doing that because, just checking out the community and getting to see who's on here. And because I believe that you were here before me, but left before I came on, I believe, because I was November 2020.
Yeah, I came on about May 2020, and I never thought I would have a YouTube ever. Hello, Marie. Hi, Kevin. Hi, Butterflies.
Yeah, hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. So is it, and we were just discussing the fact that Karen also is friends and knows
Debbie.
Debbie Freebird Spirit, and because she lived in Colorado for a while, so you probably spent a lot of time with her and doing her channel work, I guess.
I mean, we went back and forth, like when we first started. Well, she had her channel long time.
Earlier.
I would go on her channels on Sundays, and she would come on mine on Tuesdays. And then those that have been with me for a while, like Ron, there was this time where I went through a complete black night of the soul. But when I first started my channel, like I said, I didn't think I was going to do it. And all of my clients that I read for were, I felt like I was, saying the same thing over again. Charlie Brown's.
Oh, I get you. Yeah.
And then I've decided I'll just do a channel and then, kind of give people, and Spirit told me, don't worry about COVID. You're going to be fine, which later on we'd find out I was allergic to the shots and couldn't take them. But
for heaven's sake.
So that's always what I have had in my head. I'm going to be fine. It's going to be okay.
Right.
I'm going to be fine.
It's going to be okay. Yeah.
So that's how I started my channel, was just to give people some reassurance that everything is going to be okay. And
because if they like you and they like your readings, then that reassurance is important to them. So that's really good.
And so that's how my channel started. And then it just kind of progressed from there. And I myself have seen it change. And it's been beautiful. It really has.
That's good. That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear it. We'll talk about the transition of your name and so on. But hi, Larry. Hugs and tickles, huh? Well, I'll take them. Okay.
I will take them.
And Sharon, how are you today too? Butterfly kisses. Butterflies are free too. Thanks for coming by. I'm glad to have you all here. And y'all, Marie from Texas and Kevin. Yeah, Linda. Thanks so much. We appreciate it. Yeah. So yes, after yesterday and the day before yesterday and the day before that day, I kept getting booted off my shows.
Yeah.
2 days it was ridiculous. And today I got booted out of a class I was teaching. So I drove into my husband's office where they have different internet. And I got here and I was all ready to go on and tape something with Nancy G. And what do you suppose happened? You can tell Mercury's in retrograde. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
if for any reason I get booted off here, please know I'll get back as soon as I can.
Yeah, I got you. Yesterday
Yeah.
when I was watching that one, I was thinking to her, just stay on. She'll be back. Just stay on.
Yeah, problem was I had to reboot everything, and usually I don't
Yeah.
have to. It just usually works itself out. But anyway, yeah, she
Yeah.
was,
Weird.
it was just a mess. But anyway, so hopefully that won't happen. But I'm just letting everybody else know in the chat that, you know, if it does, I'll be back. Yeah.
I got it. Hello,
Uh-huh.
Sin. How are you?
Yeah. So Karen had quite a story to tell me that I did not know. And I don't know if most of you know, I met my husband online. I remember this was back in 2000 when internet wasn't as prevalent. It was in a chat room. And he was in Kentucky, I was in Texas, and we met in New Mexico. And everybody on my side and everybody on my husband's side said, oh, what if she's a criminal? What if she's a this? What if she's a that? Or what if he's this or that?
Yeah.
And both of us just had a feeling it was going to be okay. And we'll be together now. We've been together over 21 years.
Oh, wow.
But that wasn't as good for happening for you. So
yeah, no, it wasn't as good. So you know, I mean, it was very odd how it all happened because, you know, most of my friends were literally going, hey, I just want you to know you're stepping into the black night of the soul. Everything you know is changing. And I was like, yeah, okay. You know, you always hear about that. And I'm thinking,
I know. Who wants to hear it though? Yeah.
I got it. I mean, as long as you acknowledge you're going to sail right through. No, it's not like that. I know. So I moved for a relationship. And it was really, you know, really weird because I was either going to go to Florida. Well, I knew I wanted to move. I just wasn't sure if I was going to 100% move to Massachusetts or Florida. And I didn't tell you this, but Mary, I don't know if you guys know her, but Mary, I can't think of her last name, but anyways, Mary, and she was on Linda's channel, said, you need to go to Massachusetts. And she goes, it's really weird. It's like you're going there for a relationship, but it's not going to work. And who wants to hear that, you know?
Yeah, why bother? Right.
Exactly. And she goes, but please go. Please stick it out for a year because things will change and everything's going to be much better. And so I did get here. And that relationship lasted for about 5 months. And I've struggled to get out of it. Yes, Mary Street. Thank you, guys. I knew you guys.
Oh, Mary. I thought you said Mary, but Mary Street. Yep.
Yeah. So, and it was literally a year. In 1 year, I had I'd gotten out of that relationship and I told Spirit, okay, you told people you needed to be here. You better tell me why or I am gone. Yep. And literally that next day is when I got a phone call asking me if I wanted to live on Martha's Vineyard. And to be honest with you, I never even knew what Martha's Vineyard was. So I was like, sure, just get me out of here. You know, just get me out of here. And I moved. I lived with a young man who has autism. That's my specialty, is kids with disabilities, especially emotional disabilities.
Okay.
And so, you know, lived there, went through a lot of hell, just kind of going through my own processing and having to really look through at me and what do I, and really everything that I preach, doing it to myself. And then I ended up meeting, you know, my honey Joe on the internet, and it has been so wonderful, and it's the greatest thing. So, yeah. Yeah,
you just had to, and actually, it really did bring you more into the transdimensional or
Well, you know, I mean, what you have to understand is, like, in March 2020, I knew that I don't want to call it abducted because that's just, to me, that's just
victim.
For me, it wasn't like that, you know.
Okay.
I didn't know what was going on. I knew that every night I was getting up going, oh, okay, I'm here. Okay, I'm back. And then pretty soon after that, I wrote down on text message because I was like, Karen, remember your dream because you're going to forget. And I wrote down interdimensional healing learned on ship. And that's part of where the name came. Okay. So for all of this time, I knew I'd had this light language, but it was something that I was kind of embarrassed about. And who's gonna, people are going to think I'm crazy and all of this stuff. And so he really helped me to kind of be like, who cares, and speak your truth. So, so he's been my backbone through that portion of it.
Wow. And so and I think I know this because we did that reading for him the other day. But I think he's very big into the UFO.
So he knew all about this conspiracy side of it. And so he never, ever thought about the spiritual aspect of it and that sort of side. So if you ask him anything conspiracy, abduction type thing, I'm looking at my dog, who every time I start to read or do something, he comes, sits next to me.
That's okay. They just love you. That's all.
Yeah, he's being a little turd. I'm like, sit down. But anyways, you ask him anything like that, he can tell you stories about Barney Hill. Hello, Jane. So he'll tell you all those things.
And I grew up in New Hampshire. So yes, Betty and Barney Hill. I mean, it was big. My parents,
huge.
Everybody else thought it was weird, but my parents didn't think it was weird. They really believed that Betty and Barney were abducted, or taken somewhere. Yeah. Missing time and all that. There's a show I was telling Linda G about the other day, and it's UFO Declassified Mysteries or something. It's a series, I believe, on Netflix. And it's very well done. And there are things they've known forever that, we didn't know about and that I'm just finding out about. Of course, I like Dr. Stephen Greer and a few others. They're wonderful. But this was beyond Dr. Greer. This was other folks in the military and so on. So how fascinating is that? Wow. Had you considered, so you in March 2020, you were abducted or not abducted. You
visited.
Did go learn some things.
Let's say
you
visited.
You were visited.
I literally, Larry, I literally could remember them, please understand that this is the first time I'm really sharing this with everybody. That's okay. Yep. I literally remember them teaching me how to have my hands come out of my hands and go into somebody's body.
Okay.
Like
the surgery that goes through. Yep.
And using the light language and using tones and stuff like that. So it was really kind of, for me, that's why I say it's so different for me, because I continue to be visited by him. So yeah, now it doesn't freak me out as much. Now I'm like, okay, let's go.
And what about Joe? Has he also been visited?
He is not. Okay. There is something that, I'm a firm believer in. Those people that are scared, that are of the mentality of these guys are going to come get me and probe me and do all these things. And the ones that, and this could be it's those ones that want to have that visit, I guess you could say, but it's kind of like, I really want this, but you don't really want it for the experience of the spiritual side of it and what it really means.
Correct.
You want it for this part. And I
proof or something.
Proof. And that's where he is. He wants, he wants it for the proof, and he's now learning. I'm shifting him slowly. We're going the other way.
You were obviously brought together because of the same, and to learn from each other. So how beautiful is that?
Truly, that's what it is. So he really helps me understand, and he's my first go-to about telling things, and then he really makes me feel comfortable with it all. And then we process whatever, and so that has been a blessing to have.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But as a professional who works with autistic children or mental health, I can imagine that you were reticent about saying anything because just the stigma that's attached to it.
But for me, also in my belief system, you have to understand that if you think about it, and we're all around the same age group, okay? If you think about it, we didn't have autism,
I know.
We didn't have
wasn't named. Yeah.
we didn't have these things. And my belief system is that these kids are that next generation that, so I believe that we're in, let's just say, well, we all say that we're in 3D. We're in 3D right now. And 3D is so much about you're you and I'm me and we're separate.
We're separate, right.
And that is what 3D is all about.
I know.
These kids that come in, and I've always said it, with autism and these little things that we consider autistic, those are the bridge workers. They're the ones that are, because they don't have those, the views that we have. They don't have these constraints that we have. They see things so differently. And I firmly believe, so it's, now that I've come to really realize it and be channeling with these guys and really get information, it's like, okay, now I get why I'm in the job that I'm in,
Yeah. You're preparing them to live in a world as well, where all these other people live and exist. And so, so you do believe that this may be, some people are saying this may be their first Earth lifetime, or they've spent a lot more time in sort of other planets, or?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
I would say yes. And that is why, I mean, it's so hard to be, I mean, I don't know if you could imagine, I always say molasses. But
walking through molasses?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's like that's what it's like. Imagine if, I don't know how to describe it.
No, I understand exactly what you're saying, because trying to exist in a world that is not like your own, or that you're new to, or that you have a difference of, because you are a different person, is like trying to walk through molasses. It definitely, I can see that very clearly.
Yeah.
And I like that.
And then think about it this way. For those of us that are really stuck in our, job, that got to get the money, and we're not at all on a conscious thing. Right. We're so deep down in the molasses that we can't, that's all we're trying to see. We're trying to see that.
That's right. That's right.
We're those of us who are swimming up, and we're kind of getting this, and we're going to the top. And, so it does feel like, to me, it just feels like molasses and fire. That's what
that's a really good explanation for it. Yeah. And, when we go through our own stuff, we've been on the planet for a while, so we still have a hard time, but we are aware that this isn't going to be forever, hopefully, and that, we've been through this before, we can get through it. But they don't know that.
Yeah, I keep telling myself, this is the last time. I ain't doing this anymore. This is it.
Well, yeah, that's my favorite thing to say, actually. What I say all the time is, I do not want to come back to junior high again. Ugh, I hated it so much.
Yeah. Well, I always joke that I always hated school anyways, and now I'm stuck in perpetual school. And and sometimes even the things that we teach these kids, I'm like, yeah, but what do you believe? Go with that.
Go with that. That's right.
Go with that. So.
Yeah. But really, that's what the Earth is a school. It's just a school. And we are, if we don't want to learn, then we're not going to grow. We're going to stay down here. We're not going to vibrate any higher. So it's and I want to put this up because I think that this is really good. Sin McGinn. It's Fear the Unknown. She's come across a couple of YouTubers talking and chatting in light language. It makes her feel uncomfortable. And that's just the idea that I don't understand what it is you're doing. Maybe if it was explained better, you would feel more comfortable with it.
So you're absolutely right. The first time I ever ran across, I didn't know anything about this. First time I ran across it, because I am a learner. I love to learn new modes of anything. And the first time I ever came across it, I was doing a automatic writing, and the person that I was doing, his name is Lee Harris.
Oh, yes, I know who you're talking about.
I was doing Lee Harris's little class of automatic writing. And, he lets you, you download it. And he said, look, if you keep in mind that some of you may channel light language. And in my head, I thought, what's light language? And then the next minute he goes, if you don't know what light language is, look it up, Google it, you'll, YouTube it. There's plenty of people that are doing that. Now, I apologize to everyone that does light language, because you're right. I didn't know. So when I heard it, I thought, well, that's some stupid shit.
It sounds it.
I really did. I was like, this is weird. This is weird. This is weird.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like when you go to a church and they're speaking in tongues. That's the same kind of weird. Yeah.
Which what they told me was, it is a variation, but then they threw in the religion into that. They kind of, they topped it off. They topped it off. They icinged it with religion to make it okay and acceptable.
Make it okay. Well, I did not know that. Thank you. I'm glad you told me that.
So the best explanation, and I can't remember this guy's name, but I want to say his name is Murdidid or something like that. I know somebody in the room is probably going to know. So what this man really does, this whole kind of sermon thing, because I was trying to find out myself, Sin, what is light language? Like, what is that? And he started talking about how it is your soul's language. Okay. Your very first soul's language. And that is why you hear different types. Like some people just sing, some people move their hands, some people talk and move their hands. Some people use color. If you really want to go back to it, tones and frequencies. And if you think about it, music can really be called a light language because it moves your soul.
Right.
So a light language is, it can't hurt you, that's for sure. But I would say it's like using a different language. And, certain languages sound very beautiful to you, and maybe certain languages do not, know. And so if you go into light language and you hear someone talking and it just doesn't feel good, that's not your language, that's not your dialect. So turn that off and go somewhere else. But it really is, which I really find interesting that you will chant in Sanskrit, because Sanskrit, they say, is a light language, and it's one of the first languages.
Oh, I believe, and I love it. It has this, and there's some people that probably don't, but I love it. It feels right to me.
I don't think I've ever heard it.
No? Okay.
I'll have to
Thank God for Google, huh? I mean, we didn't know anything before. You had to go buy a book, and the book was not available. And
Exactly. And that's part of the reason why so many people are starting to open their eyes and look at what's going on, and we're starting to step into it, because really, I call it Coco, but COVID was really the time that it was a reboot. It was a restart. It was meant to make you look at your life and say, is this really what you want?
Yeah. It was a collective, and it was collective, and we're still doing it. And I hate that we've had to lose lives and we've had to have divisive behavior, but we would have had it anyway, I think, because it started with who, but yeah, I do. I think it was I think the universe had a plan.
Yeah, I mean, when they show me, they show me a bunch of different reasons why it had to happen. And one of the things, so there was a bunch of different reasons.
That's really
so.
And finding them out more and more every day.
Well, it's very important. Well, for those of you that resonate with light language, it can be very healing, and it can be very soothing, and just I know. Trust me, I know. I did the same thing. And I had to understand, why did you give me something? Why did you give me this gift that I don't understand?
Right.
And so I was really, really angry about that. And then they turned around and gave me English language behind it. So I can say it. And there's sometimes, and it's channeled, so I can say it, and it comes out in English. And then sometimes it is written out, but it's written out in symbols, and sometimes it's sang. But the singing's only for me. No.
That's what they say. But, things like automatic writing
Yeah.
and some of those can open you up to getting these types of things. And a lot of people are like, well, I don't know what but when you think about it, everybody that's creative is doing automatic writing.
Mm-hmm.
Really are, because it isn't coming really from us. It comes from the source. And so even those who write books and, bring up all kinds of new things, they're just channeling through and they're being used as an instrument. So,
I don't ever, I always say this isn't me doing it, because I don't want to look like a weirdo, really, but,
I mean, if you had a choice, you might have picked something else to be good at.
I remember being a little kid, and this is a vivid memory that I have. And I don't know if I've ever, so it's really weird because I don't know if anybody ever remembers this. I remember being a kid and hearing stories about a woman who was a healer, and she would touch people and she would actually take in whatever they had. And like, let's just say it was a kid with, in a wheelchair, she would literally suck it out of their bodies. And then that is what my dream was. That's what I was a kid. I wanted to grow up to do that.
I'll be like that. Is that's not Our Lady of Fatima, is it? Or
I don't know.
Lourdes, one of those places. It's very possible. There have been people that can do that. And there's actually, do you know who Sai Baba is? Have you ever heard of Sai Baba? You know how he could make gold come out of his skin?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there are people that can manifest all these things, and you can't explain that stuff away. It just doesn't go away. Yeah.
No. And I think that is one of our, one of the things that I'm writing stuff down. I'm taking notes here with no glasses. Oh, Deanne. Oh, hi. Thank you. I think that is one of our downfalls too. Because our brains look so much into, why is this happening?
Yeah.
How can I do this? Is this really me? I can't be doing this. I must be crazy. We find every little thing. And it's one of the hardest things to do is get out of the way and just let it happen.
It's especially hard for people like myself and my husband. We're both air signs, and we have to discuss something to death. And sometimes you just don't need to discuss it. It just is what it is. So, but that's just getting out of that. I guess they call it race mind. That's what they used to call it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, literally what, so I think I call it scrying. That's what I do. So I scry. And so when you see me looking off, I'm asking them for help. I'm not, there's nobody in the room. I'm just asking them, hey, how would you do this? So when you see me looking somewhere, I'm asking one of them for help. So anyways, scrying, you're absolutely right. My brain went and skipped somewhere else. So hopefully I didn't skip over what you just said, but I go back to the writing and the drawing and all of those things. That is completely, when we turn off our brains and we are connected, that is why we're able to do all those things. But we really have to, that's a really hard thing that we've got to stop beating it to figure out.
I know. I gotta know the answer. No, you don't.
I'm a Pisces, so I'm just like, ooh, fluffy.
You're watery.
I go along with it.
Go with the flow. You go with the flow. Honestly.
Joe's like, Joe wants to talk about it. I'm like, can it just be what it is? Like, can't you just accept it?
It could be that he's just excited about it because there aren't many people you can just sit down with and sort of go over this kind of thing with in person that understands or even wants to understand what it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
I would definitely. And, I've often heard, I've never met anybody like you. And I'm like, yeah, well.
One of a kind.
One of a kind. But it definitely is cool to have someone in your life that can do that you can bounce it back, that you can look.
Yeah. So Kevin is a psychic, and he has his own channel, and he's fabulous. And he's the one actually that was on my channel and told me that he opened up much bigger when he took Reiki, So I went out and got my Reiki. I started my Reiki, and he does have this way about him in his voice, sort of an angelic resonance, but everybody's got something a little bit different, but it's our gift that we have and what we do with it. Yeah.
And I would add, and there's another fault in us, which that we have to curb, is looking at everybody else going, why can't I do that?
Right. Absolutely. I wish I could do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I catch myself doing it too. I wish I could do that. You know, it's like, I got enough crap on my plate that I'm still trying to learn and do.
Well, it took me years and years because people would say, what are you good at as far as metaphysical stuff, not other things. And I mean, I did become a college instructor, and I do like to teach, and I do like to ask the questions. And I had to realize that that was enough. That was okay. I could bring what I wanted to bring in. I didn't have to have a specialty, so to speak. And as that came along, then I just opened up more, and I was able to receive more. So it was really a good thing for me.
For me, I've always, when I started opening up my gifts, but you know, I had it when I was a little kid. And so I remember putting and I've told this story before. I remember my brother, who I don't know how old I was, but my brother had gotten into a really bad car wreck. He passed. And so I remember I was small enough to where I had my hands in between the bars, and I was doing this number, and I was holding my hands above his body. And I don't know why, but that's what I was doing. And I had my eyes closed, and this is what I'd been doing for a while. And of course, my mother was very supportive.
Oh, that's good. A lot of them aren't.
She was very supportive. But my mom was also the type of person that said, don't tell anybody because people are going to think you're crazy.
Yeah.
So there's that thing that gets stuck in the head.
Sure.
I saw my brother, you know, before they actually told my mom that he was brain dead. You know, my mom came to talk to us, and I said, he already came here. And she's like, what do you mean he already came here? I said, he was here the other day. And he literally, I was watching TV, zoning out on TV, and he stepped right. You remember back in the old day when we had that paper that they would lay down and you'd write, the teachers would write, and you'd see it on the wall? That's what it was like.
Okay.
We literally watched this whole Bambi scene come right in front of me. My brother stepped in through the wall and said, I got to go. It's time to go. I just want you to know I love you, and I'm always going to be there to take care of you. I'm like, okay, bye. You know?
Yeah, you're a kid. Okay. Yeah.
I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, so I told my mom, he's already gone. I already know that. He told me bye. And so that was my mom. My mom was able to kind of have closure with it too. So,
wow, that's amazing.
So
that's really good. I mean,
so I shut it down, you know, like
most of us do.
Yeah, I shut it down because life goes on. And then it started coming back, and people, you know, I would do readings and you know, I'd always get freaked out because I would sit down and people, you know, would say, what are you doing? You know, you're supposed to be reading. What are you doing? And I was like, oh, I do hair. And they're like, no, you're not going to, you're not going to guide people with hair. Like, it looks really cool.
That's awesome.
But, yeah. And then I came, it's funny because I came to Salem. And
I was just going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I came for a visit in Salem in 2017 or 18, I think it was.
Okay.
And I saw this picture of this guy, and I was like, man, wouldn't it be great to have a reading with him? You know, because we were doing this tour.
Yeah.
And we went walking through Salem, and it was getting later. And then I told, you know, the person I was with, I said, you know, don't worry about that. It's getting really late. We're probably not going to see it anyways. Sure enough, we turn the corner and there's the store.
Wow.
And we walk in, and the lady says, hi, would you like a reading? And I was like, by chance, is this guy available? And she goes, as a matter of fact, he just had a cancellation. And I said, I will take that. And so I literally sat down, and he starts, you know, kind of talking. And I was like, look, dude, you got to give me something. And I explained what had happened throughout the day. And he's like, he actually told me what cards to get, and which that the
Okay.
problem is that I can't do tarot because it's got too many rules for me. I can't figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then in with that tool, as many years later, I was reading professionally at a metaphysical fair, and I was
Mm-hmm.
staring off because I was trying to find the word. And that's when I saw these flickers. And I started paying attention to that more. And then I started seeing the pictures come. And so that's how I started kind of scrying. And
That's really awesome.
and
Yeah.
so that's what I do mainly. I mean, I can use the cards, but
Uh-huh. But
I
you don't need the cards.
don't
Yeah.
need the cards anymore.
It's just a tool anyway. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't realize that,
It's
you know,
just
it
a
is
tool.
just a tool. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
And so my
Yeah.
guides are really, you know, they speak really fast and they don't play around. Like they're
Mhm.
very, this is,
Matter of fact. Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
and sometimes they, you know, and I feel bad because when I have people on, I don't mean to cut people off, but they're just like, yeah, you know, so
Right, right.
okay. You
Yeah.
know?
It isn't me that's doing this. It's these people.
Yeah, just, you know, they're really,
So
so yeah.
it's great that you mentioned Salem. It was on my mind because when I lived in Lynn, I taught at Salem State, and I taught for them later when I moved out west. But I've had really good readings in Salem, even though it's considered to be witch city or whatever you want to call it. Didn't feel that way. Anyway, I was hoping you had been there because it's just an awesome place to go. And there's one little store that's over by the author's house, the House of Seven Gables. It's over by the House of Seven Gables. And you walk in and there's a cold spot in one of the corners. And they said there's a ghost that just stays there and, you know, doesn't go anywhere. So I used to talk to my colleague, Charles, about everything. He knew about that I liked the Buddha and this and that. He was very Catholic, very Catholic. And he's like, okay, you believe what you believe in, but, you know, I'm the Holy Father, this and the Holy. And so Charles passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to call him Buddy. And so I went to visit my girlfriend. She had a dog named Buddy. And guess who was in Buddy?
Mm-hmm.
And so when I went to a psychic, she said, Buddy wants you to know, is there a dog that's Buddy? And I said, yes. And the person that was called Buddy, well, that Buddy wants you to know, I believe everything you said. It's all true, Al. What, my God, you were right all along.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought that was such an affirmation that, you know, I was on the right track because he was very conservative, very Catholic, very disbelieving in any of that, you know.
I think that's where I was really lucky because my mom was raised Catholic, but she's from Panama. So she has, you know, all the females that I can remember are very spiritual.
Right.
And so, you know, I kind of grew up with it, you know, so.
Yeah. Could have gone the other way, though, if she was so Catholic that your thing would have been devilish to her.
Well, luckily, when she met my dad and they were trying to get married, there was a big old huge problem. And she saw this woman, you know, carrying her kid trying to get it saved. I don't know. Pardon me. I don't know the.
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
But she was trying to get him like prayed
over
before he passed. And the guy asked her for money and she said, well, I come from the valley and I don't have any money. And the guy told her, go away. We're not going to do it. And she said she would never raise. So she was raised Roman Catholic. So she said she was never going to raise her kids that way. She raised a Southern Baptist.
Oh, goodness sakes.
You know,
that's so different. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think she did that honestly because it was a way to introduce religion to us, and she didn't drive, and so they would always come and pick us up. And you know, in the bus. So I really think that is why she decided she was going to raise this Baptist.
She went to the total opposite end of the spectrum, is what she did, pretty much.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
She did. That is very strange. I've been in a church like that, was invited into a church that was like Pentecostal, I believe.
Yeah.
And somebody invited me to go. I wasn't, and it was somebody I wanted to do business with. So I said, of course, I'll go with you, you know. And in the middle of it, the minister stands up and says that he's having an affair with the secretary and that God needs to forgive him and blah, blah, blah. And everybody's, you know, and I stand up I don't even know. It was like I wasn't me. I stood up and I said, don't judge not that will not be judged.
Yeah.
And everybody turned around and told me to sit down. It was very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah. I think at the core, every religion is beautiful. And, I asked Spirit, how come, why do we have this? And they always give me this. And my guides are also some of them are very funny. But, I used to go to Debbie's house. You had someone on here last night that said when I go somewhere, or someone I was listening to said, when I go to somebody's house, it's an entourage. And that's me. If I go into, Debbie used to hold the door open for a while. Come on in,
all of you.
And then she'd shut the door after a while. But, my guides always said that if every single person has to go to a point in California, we're all going to get to that point. It's just a matter. Some of us will be walking. Some of us will be riding our own cars. Some of us would be driving. Some of us would be flying. And, and they're like, and so it's just different places, but we all have our way to get there and we shouldn't judge anybody else. So it's always been great,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really, there all roads lead to the one, really, except that some people they go down a one-way street or a dead end and they have to go back.
Yeah.
So Patricia says she imagines her guardian angel as a middle-aged broad who chain smokes and drinks too much coffee.
I would agree. I say that too. And I think that's why I have so many, so they can switch off and, back and forth. So.
Yeah. But you've always had the guides talking to you. Now you're just getting more interdimensional ones?
Yeah. I've never really, before I never really, I found, and this is just me, I found that the more I dug into trying to figure out why, the more harder it was for me to get there. So I stopped doing that.
Good.
And I just trusted in Spirit. And so, and that can be the Pisces in me, so I just say, and they're telling me, I forgot to say this earlier, when I really started opening up, which is what I was saying, was when I started using the I am. And I said, I am of service to Spirit. I am of service to others. I am a clear and concise channel. To anyone who needs me, I am of service to Spirit. I am of service to others. I'm a clearance. And I would say that 3 or 4 times before I ever, so it's a light switch. Yep. And so, for me, I've always, I've always used that light switch, and less that you're probably like stepping in. That question couldn't be more appropriate right now.
Right.
So, I thought I was picking something really good. Some of you people are going to laugh, but I thought, okay, my light switch is going to be incense and 70s rock. Okay.
There you go.
Because those two would probably never go together.
Right. Right. Never. No.
Little did I know. So what I did blessed was I never read a book. I never did anything spiritual unless I started that first, and then I would do whatever it was. Okay. And that helped me connect more. And for me, I was told that to go off the way that I found my guides. My first ones was, I was told by my person who was a mentor to me, I consider him my spiritual dad, told me, just, I need to go out camping and I need to have some me time and quiet and just ask, ask, and don't be freaked out if what comes to you is a fox with wire rimmed glasses. Don't be freaked out.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
That's what it is. The problem is we're so closed-minded and we think our guides are supposed to look this way. We're supposed to be like this. Sirius, it's not his name, but he told me, you can't pronounce my name with your tongue. And he comes from the Sirius stars and he looks he's like 10 feet high, and he looks like golden sparklers coming down, you
Wow.
know, and he,
How beautiful.
he
Yeah.
is absolutely beautiful. And I thought I was going crazy. And I went to one of my friend's house, and she goes, "Oh my God, you got a new one." And I was like, "Oh, you see him too? Okay." You know?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
God.
But
Yeah.
then I have one that, you know, she shifts, you know,
Okay.
she can look like a Roman person. Sometimes she has wings. Sometimes she looks really hardcore. And
Mhm.
basically she told me her name was Serafina. That's all I heard.
Ah.
Serafina.
Oh,
And, you know, so I
beautiful.
just, you know, that is, but they don't really care what you call them, just as long as you
No,
realize.
they don't, because one of mine told me that her name was Darlene. This was a
Yeah,
long time ago.
yeah.
And I said, "I don't like that name." She said, "Then just call me Darla."
Just call me whatever. They don't. They don't.
Yeah, it was funny. But what my 2-year-old downstairs, not anywhere near me, looks up at me when I come down and says, "Where's Darla, Mama?"
Yeah, yeah.
They know it
Oh
all,
yeah.
you know? Yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
You know, Rose, that's an awesome question. And
Mhm.
um,
I have
oh,
2
this one.
years.
Wait. Do the
Okay,
interdimensional guides vibrate higher or just differently? Yes and yes. And
okay.
how can you tell they are our space friends? So you know, some of them vibrate higher. And what spirit shows me is, and I just use this analogy, I do private readings too, and I just use this analogy on the
Oh.
last one. So imagine if you are standing outside an apartment complex, okay?
Mhm.
And you're looking at all the windows, the floors, all right? Um, the first floor is the worst possible living situation that you could think of, okay?
Probably. Yeah.
And then the penthouse is the beautiful, the most wonderful thing you can think of. Okay. Um, when you think of we're in 3D, that's first floor. That's what they kind of
Yeah.
show. We're in first floor because we're learning all of these
All
things
of the things to stay down grounded.
to stay grounded. And
Yeah.
also this earth is just such a wonderful melting pot, a plethora of everything. It holds so much life, and the water is so different here than anywhere else.
Mhm.
Um, so with that in mind, let's go back to the first floor. Now, these people that are vibrating on a much higher level. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
I won't go into too much detail because there's even more breakdowns in the level. But these guys have the passcode that can let you go down into every single floor. But if you're living in the penthouse, are
You don't
you
wanna go down there.
exactly? Would you
Right.
really want to go down there?
Only to go outside.
You know, you really don't
Yeah.
want to go out there.
No.
This is why we have Bigfoot and Yeti, and people see fairies, and people, yeah, they
Mhm.
can come down, but
Mhm.
you know, it really, you got to meet them halfway, you know.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
you know, we
Mhm.
have to raise our vibration high enough,
Yeah.
and so that we can kind of open that door, and that door is just you getting out of your way and understanding that we all have gifts, you know.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
just got to work on it and just be gentle with yourself. um
And being enlightened, a lot of people think, well, once I reach enlightenment, I'm all set. Well, no, you have to stay there, and you can't because you're a human.
because
And so,
yeah,
yeah, that's a
you're only
vibration.
human, you know. I mean, I do
Yeah.
it too. I mean, there's times where I look
Sure.
at someone and I'm thinking, what was she thinking when she walked out of the house dressed like that? And then
I
I've
know.
got to, you know, okay, Karen, stop, get back.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, okay, don't be judgy, don't be
I
judgy.
know.
Love
I
her.
know.
That's
Yeah.
that is her path right now.
And you have to keep saying cancel,
Yep,
cancel, cancel. Yeah.
yep, that's her path. You know, I
Or is it, it's what's her name? Oh, the lady that does Abraham. She says, "Oh, don't say that. You got a little bit of wobble going on there." How true is that?
Esther,
Wow.
Esther Hicks and Abraham. Yep.
Esther. Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, you know, Rose, here's the deal. My guides say when the student is ready, the teacher will come.
It's true.
Um, but I'm all for free information. So I would use your light switch that you create.
Yep.
Google the crap out of things and feel it
Come
within.
to YouTube
Yep.
and listen to different channels. Yeah.
Feel it within your soul, because
Yeah.
once again, we don't, like, when we come back and we reincarnate, we don't start back at the bottom again.
No.
It's not like you got to learn everything all over again. So
Yeah.
you may have already been through something and don't need to check off that box, they say, but
That's
I'm
right.
still checking it off, So just keep that in mind. Follow your soul, and just put it out there. If bring people into my life that will help me grow and help me change.
And not take advantage.
Yeah.
There are people that do take advantage. I've heard it many, many times.
Oh yeah, my guides.
You have to pay $1 million for something or whatever.
Yeah, here's the thing. I'm all for charging, because this is how we make our living sometimes.
It's an energy exchange.
But it's an energy exchange. And the energy of this land is coin. I hate to say it, but it's the coin. Right. We work for the coin. We do the coin. The coin gives us money. Coin gives us food. This is what we do. Right. So but do it within reason. I mean,
I know.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm cheap. If you tell me you're going to charge me $200, $300 for something, I'm sorry. I'll figure it out myself, because I don't have that much money.
Right. Me too. Yeah.
So, just do that. And it's really, I always say, here's a really good thing that I learned, which is close your eyes, and you're going to pick either the left or the right. And it's always going to be the same way. So if you pick a good side and a bad side. Okay. And what I mean by that is, imagine the thing that you hate the most. Like for me, peas and liver, and put that, whatever you hate, put it on that side. And I want you to just stay in that feeling for a little bit. Like for me, I can smell the peas and the liver and feel how that feels in my body, and it doesn't feel good. And okay, now go back to center and kind of feel normal and get all that out. Now I want you to think of something that makes you feel really, really good and fills your soul with love and happiness, and something that's really awesome to you, your safe space, whatever it may be, and put that on the other side. Okay. And stay there and feel your body. Okay. Feel how it feels. So you have now a compass, and you can, it'll take a little bit to get it. So ask yourself a question like, do I need to eat Twinkies right now? And if you put left, and then which one stands out the most? Well, probably hopefully no is going to stand out. Of course, I did give you a hard one with Twinkies, because that's some good shit. But you know what I'm saying? So this is what you do. And
that is an energy as well. And that's getting used to trusting your own body, trusting your own wisdom within by choice that you make. That's true.
Yeah, because the reality is, and here's another thing, we always look outside yourselves, but one of the things that they need you to understand is you were built perfect and whole, and you were built with absolute perfection. Even your imperfections are perfections. And so, one of the main things that they need you to understand is to have faith in yourself and try to get deprogrammed from all of these beliefs that we were given,
And that's one of my I ams. I even have a necklace. It says, I am enough.
Yeah. We are.
We are enough.
We are enough, and we are perfect, and we are loved. And by the way, if no one told you today, I love you,
That's right.
But we are enough. And that's the things that, we need to step into the God within us. And so, Rose, when and even me hearing this it's kind of like, ooh, that's kind of tough. You're your own mentor. You're your own person. True. And you have to, my guides always say, one step forward, even if it's a fail, at least you learn something, and you're stepping.
It's always a gift. There's a gift in things that don't work out as much as there are in things that do.
Yep. So
Absolutely.
I mean, and I don't turn anything off. You
Right.
know, I just it's everything happens for a reason.
I just talked about this the other day with somebody on a channel, and as somebody said, it's downloads. Is that what you come up with? Yeah.
So also, so it's really, I hear you, and it's kind of a pain in the butt, really. Sometimes I hear angels singing. Like I hear a choir in one ear, and then I'm like, oh, no, yep, that's what it is. And so I, let it go for a little bit and just take it all in. And so, yes, those of us that are, I always say, oh gosh, I use this word and I just forgot it, but leveling up. Those people, those of us that are leveling up, you're going to have those. You're going to feel dizzy. You're going to feel like your ears are ringing. You're going to feel really tight. Well, he's getting up. The dog is getting up. Hey, stop moving.
Speaking of leveling up.
he's 139 pounds.
Oh my goodness. He's a big guy. Yeah.
So
I have dizziness all the time. I can't get up without being dizzy. And today I was almost tipped all the way over, and it's not my equilibrium. It's not. It's me leveling up.
It's really you leveling up. Also, what they're telling me, they literally show me the planet shifting.
We get a lot of energy here.
Lots of energy going on. And, you have, people that, once again, we are really going through a shift right now, even though if you're watching the TV, I don't watch the TV, so I couldn't tell you what's happening on TV. If you're watching the TV, you're seeing all that. You're separate than me. You're separate. You're fighting, and you're not. You're sitting here going, "How are we ever going to make it?" Yeah, but there's plenty of us that don't watch that crap. I just can't get involved in any of it. So
I don't blame you. Patricia mentions about mentors, and I think there is a difference, Patricia, and this is just my opinion, between mentors and gurus. And I think what you're talking about is people who are more narcissistic, and they get everything, and they suck everybody dry. A mentor should be somebody told my husband he was their mentor, and he's like, what, really? You don't even know you're a mentor. That's kind of how it works, I think.
I would agree with you. Anybody can be your mentor. Yeah, I don't. And on my end, I don't mind mentoring and talking to somebody once in a while and saying yes. I mean, right now, I'm giving you mentorship. In a way, I'm giving you mentorship.
But you can take and leave whatever you want as well of what she's saying or I'm saying. Yeah,
exactly. And I think that, for me, they just happened to fall into my lap, Yes. Debbie from Freebird Spirit is my mentor. Lisa, from Spirit Intuitive, I think is her channel. She's my mentor.
Of course. They're wonderful ladies. And I love Susan Lynn and Medium Kim. I mentored with them because they just are wonderful people. And but they're not my guru. I love them, but they're separate.
Here's the deal. I had a guru once, and she was my aunt. She was my aunt, and I would go to classes with my aunt. And one day I looked around the table, and instead of listening to her, it was like I was literally hearing, first of all, this intense buzzing happened right here. I mean, huge, intense buzzing. All of a sudden I looked across and I looked at this person, and all I could see was that he was arguing with his wife. And I looked at his wife, and his wife was going, why doesn't he ever pay attention to me? And he's always listening to her. And I look over at their daughter, who's in her 20s, and she's like, ha ha. And I'm watching this all pan out. And I look at this one, and this one's thinking his own head. And I'm just like, I'm thinking I'm going crazy. My aunt gets done. She's like, why weren't you, she starts screaming at me in Spanish when everybody's gone. And I said, I couldn't help it. This one happened, and this one happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And she goes, lies, all lies. Well, I think it was out of jealousy, personally. Now that I can look back, it was out of jealousy.
Yeah.
And, but gurus, they don't want you to grow. You know, they want you to
Well,
stay
they
underneath.
want to stay attached most of the time. Now, Sin says it's a dispeller of darkness, but you know, a light could be a dispeller of darkness, right?
Yeah.
You turn the light on and it's not
Gone.
dark anymore. But really, you should be your own guru.
Yeah, be your own guru.
Be your own guru. I want you to know about Aspie. I don't know if you know who Aspie is, but Aspie is also a UFO. You do. Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because she's UFO, you know, dimensional. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been you know, it's definitely been a really cool and interesting ride, and there's going to be more to come because I have certain individuals that want to step forward and channel. So I'm going
that's wonderful.
You know,
so
that's gonna
yes,
be,
tell us that's going to be coming up on your channel then. Okay, good.
So it'll be some, you know, like anything else, it's just a skill. You know, I need to practice and practice because it is going to, you know, what they're telling me is that it's different from what I'll be doing, like what I'm used to doing here. You know, which is staring off and talking to them, but it'll be different. So
but that's okay. You're ready for it. I just know that this is the place that you're at right now. Oh, yeah. I am so happy that you have been here with me today and everybody else. And I thank you and wish you the very best in this new venture.
No problem.
Yes. And with Joe, I'd love to see you bring Joe on too.
I feel bad that we didn't do any readings or anything like that or any, it's okay though.
We'll do it if you want to come back sometime. I would love you to come back and let's do some. Okay. But sometimes it's just nice to let people know. And I know some already do know you, but it's wonderful for them to find out what transformation you've been through. And the best way to do that sometimes is just through discourse. So
exactly. You know, I would say the biggest advice I have for anybody starting out is one, just have fun.
Yeah.
There's no wrong way, you know, and you know, don't put a ceiling over your own head. Like, I don't sit there and, you know, I let spirit, I'm just a vessel, you know, I don't say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't talk to dead animals or no, I don't do that, or no, I don't do this.
You need to contact somebody else who does that. Yeah.
Yeah. What I do is say, you know what, I'm not sure. Let's try.
Yeah. We can have some fun. Good. I love that. You're adventurous.
Yeah. I just think if I'm the one, then I'll bring the message. And if I'm not, it won't come through.
It won't come through and you'll just say, sorry, can't find anything.
But I don't, you know, and I think
restrictions placed. Yeah, no restrictions. That would keep you way down anyway. And I think you may not have even been able to access those things that came through if you did place those restrictions. So obviously you are an open vessel. So that's great. That's great. Wow. Thank you so much. And thanks to everybody else. You guys have a great night. And thank you for all of your also comments in the chat. Please like and subscribe to Karen's channel, and I'll see you again. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Whoops, I did it again. I went out the wrong way. Sorry. Bye-bye.